This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, May 30th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, and home assistant meetups. Yay! Woo! How did they go, guys? Tell me, how'd they go?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty fun. We had, I think, about 16 people there, and everybody pretty much stayed for the whole time. I don't think anybody left until maybe, 30, 45 minutes before our posted end time at 4 o'clock. I got to see Trevor and Justin from Apollo Automation. We went out and had some dinner afterwards, so it was great to actually spend some time with them and hang out. And we made another friend there named Brian as well, and we all had dinner. It was nice. But it honestly, it was a really good time. Everybody there they were excited about Home Assistant in some capacity. They either have been using it for, ages at this point, or they were a new user. And we actually had a couple, relatively new users to Home Assistant, which I kind of found surprising, to be honest. I just thought most people that would go would be using it for a while. So it's kind of nice to see that difference there. We had products from Innovelli, Railink, Apollo Automation gave away stuff, and Zeus gave away stuff as well. And we gave over $1,000 worth of products away.
Wow!
So everybody walked away with a new device, some
Nice.
switches, some cameras, and stuff like that, and all of it works with Home Assistant, so they could take it home and install it right away. So that part was really cool. It was honestly a really good experience. I had kind of like an itinerary of what we were going to do, but we kind of just hung out. We didn't do anything that I really talked about doing. Everybody just kind of hung out and talked about their automation systems and the products they use, and it was a fun time.
Did anybody pick up that sweet LED I sent you?
No, I did not bring that for some reason. I honestly don't know where it went, Seth. That's very weird.
Weird, strange.
The one hanging on the wall behind you?
Oh.
Did your neighbor say anything about the box that you got? Like, they were kind of curious?
No, honestly, he did not.
Oh, that's
I don't even
odd.
think he looked at the box, so...
Yeah, I sent TJ a special box, not shrimp, but it was I guess if you picture a bidet, but without the nice little stream of water that comes up, and maybe like a bristle brush on a motor. It was something like that, and it was a fun little box.
Sounds painful.
It doesn't sound good, honestly. It was advertised as like a travel one as well.
Oh, the travel was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like you can use it in stadiums.
Did you actually not have a box, or did you just buy that box on purpose? Because you got that from Amazon.
I had that one just laying around.
Wow,
I mean, I had a bunch of those laying around. Gavin may get one too. Who knows?
Oh, man.
Oh my! That's probably why it hasn't left Florida then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your little gift box to me has been going around Florida in circles, and I don't think it's ever going to make it here. It's probably forgotten on somebody's truck.
How was your Home Assistant community day, Gavin?
The Home Assistant Community Day in Toronto was amazing. Like, I was actually shocked. It was better than I actually thought it would be. So the host, Max, he did a great job. He organized everything, got the venue, is down in the heart of Toronto. And I think he had it booked initially for like just 25 people. And I think we got more than that. Right. So that was even good. He had presentations. We had a screen set up and people, created presentations of their dashboards. And I guess the main focus was dashboards, which was really cool because everyone was seeing how each other handled dashboards. And you ask questions on how they handled things. And one gentleman, Mark, he just loves talking dashboards. So, it was kind of funny to see him, time. All right, that's enough, but he's a great guy. And I know he could talk for hours on dashboards. Ours lasted, I was there till probably at least 5 o'clock before, we finally left. So, people were having great conversations. Apollo was there. I got to thank him for the t-shirt. We did some giveaways. So Apollo gave away some stuff. I brought a Home Assistant voice and gave that away. There was another giveaway that we had. I can't remember what it was, but the coolest thing was we had kind of like just I'm not going to call it a junk table, just a freebie table. So I went through my box of stuff that, I've decommissioned. They work great. It's just I didn't need them anymore. So I brought a whole bunch of stuff and I poured it out on the table. And I said, take what you want. And there was another guy, I want to say his name's Alex. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. He brought bags and bags of stuff and he poured it out on the table. And when I say I was shocked with what he had on there because there were things like Apple TVs. There were I got a Harmony remote.
He just dove in over that one.
As soon as I saw that Harmony remote, I was like, oh my God, a backup. Like I know I'm going to need this. And it's not the Elite, it's the one before it, the Harmony one, still the touchscreen and stuff. So it was still good. It was still a good grab. And then there were all sorts of little like just a ton of stuff just on this table. It's just like, take whatever you want, guys. And people would come by, and some of the stuff I had to explain to the people because it's not obvious. It's like, this is a Z-Wave extender. And they're like, oh, okay, I could use that. And I'd say, there you go. Or this is a Zigbee plug from IKEA, but where you would use this best is this situation. To be like, yes, that would solve my problem. I'm like, here you go. Enjoy. Nice. So I got rid of a whole bunch of like, I'm not going to call it junk, but just, tech that I didn't use. And the first thing the wife said to me when I got home is she says, I thought you were going to get rid of all your junk, not come home with somebody else's junk.
Yeah, useful junk this time.
Yeah. I go like, I traded all that for this Harmony remote. And she's like, another one? I go, in case that one breaks.
My backup needs a backup.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. We met a few listeners there. Just got a shout out like Dave, Todd, Mark, and there we got some new listeners because when people are, hearing about HomeTech.fm, they instantly just signed up. They're like, yeah, so we gotta listen to you. I added you to the list. So, and they took my contact because everyone always has questions and stuff. So, I'm pretty sure they'll use gas, over time, and it was just an all around great time. And I think they want to do this probably more than once a year. I think that was the consensus from a lot of people is they're like, we want to do this like every 6 months, if anything, because there's so many topics that people have. Like people were curious about one gentleman, he was talking about his pool, and that had me because he was talking about how his pool is all automated. He has a house in Florida. He's away from it a lot, but he automates everything in his pool to even the point where he can drain the pool if they get too much rain. And I was like, that's a cool idea, right? And then he even has the robotic pool cleaner. He can control that remotely too. And I'm like, I want that, so it was a really good time. I look forward to the next one. We have pictures, I think we're sharing them with the Home Assistant guys and everything. We got stickers, they had Toronto meetup stickers and everything. So that was good to see too. So
nice.
It was just good. It was good times, good talks, and it was well organized.
Yeah, I got a couple of comments. People are like, how often is this going to happen?
Yes.
I was like, well, right now it's only once a year as far as I know. I said, but I could see it happening like twice a year.
Yeah.
Twice a year feels like a good number. I don't know about anything more than that. But it definitely seems like at least it sounds like people in both of our areas wanted this to happen more often. So
I see it. I think it will get bigger too, because there are a lot of people afterwards that, they couldn't make it for whatever reason, but there were a lot of people like, I didn't even hear about it. Where do I hear about this? So I know they set up a Telegram channel I have to join for the Toronto meetup that they so people can keep in touch. They should just set up a forum on the Home Assistant forums for meetups, and people can have a thread for their specific city.
Yeah, we're gonna, I guess, so there's a tech group in Columbus called Tech Life Columbus. And they do like a lot of tech events and stuff around town. So I think I'm going to work with them. I typically work their like summer festival and sometimes their winter festival if I'm around. Usually selling beer at the summer festival to raise money for the organization. But I think we can do something more with that as well. With everybody, so that way there's more home automation stuff. I think home automation is such a fun topic anyway. You could always find something to talk about.
Exactly.
Meetup, you know what I mean?
And I just want to, I really want to thank not just the organizers who helped make this all great, but
thank you.
I want to thank all the supporters of the events, the companies that sent devices to give away or something like that, because they didn't have to, but they decided to support us in one way or another. And we really, really appreciated that because it made it just better when everybody got to go home with something.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was really nice too, because, I some of these brands, that like people know about, right? Like people know about Zeus, people know about mmWave and stuff like that. But it's cool to meet people in person. And you're like, oh, have you ever heard of mmWave? And they're like, yeah, I use their light switches at my house, or, I have these Zeus devices here. And people are pointing to the stuff and it's like, I use this already. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what this product is, then you can vouch for it. And everybody had positive things to say about Zeus and mmWave. It was all good things, Railink as well. So that was a pretty cool aspect.
So, Seth, how did yours go?
Well, I had a hot dog that day, so I guess that's really.
You should have started one in Sarasota.
I know, Seth.
Right in your
really.
neighborhood, all the old people could have came.
Yeah,
I know.
they'd be like, "What is this? Is this bridge?"
I don't need any assistance.
Yeah. So will this know if I fell?
Yeah.
No. Next time, Seth, you got to get one going out in Florida, Seth, and we gotta have one for each of us.
Yeah, I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any in Florida at all.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
So I don't know. I'm sure as things pick up, it'll become more and more of a popular thing to do. I like right at the end of the school year, and with everything going on last week here, like probably I think it's a holiday weekend too. Like probably not the best day to do it. I don't know. Maybe they could adjust the weekend they pick. It'd be great.
Well, and they definitely need more notice, right? Because that was the problem. Is like a lot of people didn't know that it happened. Because I was sharing photos in, like the Home Assistant Facebook groups and stuff like that, and people were like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And I was like, well, to be fair, you only had a month notice. So even if you knew it was a thing, there was a good chance you wouldn't have made it. And that makes sense why there wasn't a ton of hosts, but there's still a lot for such short notice, right?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of places and everything like that. So it'll be crazy next year. Hopefully they do it with a 2-month notice, though.
Yeah, hopefully they give you more time, but also hopefully they take some of the ideas that were successful or whatever, they get feedback from you guys and kind of focused in like, oh, this is what you can do with this day, that kind of thing. So.
Right.
But yeah, it looked like a good time. We're going to skip over the pick of the week. We're going to have picks of the week this week, and we'll send you guys. We'll put on the website on the show notes all the pictures from the two meetups. It looked like a fun time. I don't really have any for mine. So
you'll see just a random picture of Seth in there
and a hot dog.
Oh, have AI put yourself in there?
I'll Photoshop myself in. Yeah.
Into all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, I was there. You guys didn't see me.
A miniature Seth somewhere.
Yeah.
We got new stickers too now, right? TJ, did you get the stickers?
Yeah, I did. And some people took them. Nobody knew me like Gavin, though. I guess Gavin's super famous in Canada. I am not famous in Columbus.
Huh, weird.
Nobody knew who I was, but I still have some stickers. So maybe we'll do another sticker campaign here soon.
Another round of stickers, yeah. We have special ones this time.
I have so many stickers, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So besides lose them, I'm definitely going to lose these at some point.
Well, I would say you could try to mail them to Gavin, but that doesn't seem to be a thing that you can do.
Maybe I will try to mail some to Gavin.
I'll take some too.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. But yeah, we'll put everything in the show notes, HomeTech.fm/530. It should have pictures and everything. And then, yeah, it sounds like a really good time. It's sad I missed out on it, but end of the year, man, it's really tough to get away from all the shenanigans that are going on. Yeah, maybe a different weekend would be great. That would be my vote.
Just punt your responsibilities, Seth. You don't need responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, we do have a bunch of HomeTech headlines that came through this week. What do you guys say we jump in and take a look?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Have you ever walked up to somebody's house and said, "Oh God, that's the ugliest lock I've ever seen"? Well, now you can do that and unlock your door with the Switchbot Lock Ultra. It's a retrofit smart lock featuring 3D facial recognition and priced at $159. This lock pairs with the new Switchbot keypad, costing $99. It's designed to be installed without replacing existing locks and maintains your existing lock's appearance and functionality. The Vision keypad mounted outside the door connects by Bluetooth and supports additional unlocking methods such as fingerprint, key code, and NFC card. So I really don't know what this thing looks like. I really hadn't looked at it too much, but I thought it was really funny because typically Switchbot has not been the best looking thing at all. But this one you don't notice. It's just the keypad that's on the wall.
This is like a terribly Photoshop picture, like the top photo. It's just like, and I like how they always have to show you like the little lines with the camera, because how else would you know it's a camera?
Yeah.
There's a little laser beam shooting at your face.
One day they're going to do that and blind somebody.
Yeah. I don't think this is the ugliest lock on the market, but it's definitely not attractive.
I guess it looks more like a weird doorbell that's installed. So you're walking up and you're saying, "Oh God, what's that weird, ugly looking doorbell?" And you can unlock your doors looking at that. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, the inside, the part that goes inside, it's very hard to make that actually look attractive because of it's kind of, what do you call it, retrofit. It like sits over top of your deadbolt in a way, right? So it's hard, but they could have done a bit more with the one on the outside, right? Because that has a lot of options for that. It is what it is, but Switchbot has a market. I guess if you're in like a condo or something like that, you can still install this without, actually taking out the lock.
This looks like a garage door opener that you'd have on the side of your house, like
Yeah, exactly.
next to your garage door. It looks like that. They did not.
But they did announce a couple other things too in this announcement, not just the lock, but they also announced the new hub, which could bridge up to 30 Switchbot devices.
Ooh.
So that was good to see. But then they also dropped this AI hub. And from what I see, they're kind of making it the brains of your home. So like it will take the input it gets from sensors and, and it will be able to control things like the arms on your robots and stuff like that. And it can make automatic decisions.
So it's got AI.
Right?
It's got AI.
Yeah, it's going to be using AI. And it's kind of like, I envision what they're thinking to do is just make your home automatic. You don't have to program anything. You have to do anything. It should just know that, hey, everybody's left the home, turn down the temperature to 0. That type of thing.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I need.
0.
I don't want to think about anything. Just do it.
Yeah, it would be nice until you come home and it won't let you in because it thought you were out with another robot.
You sound like you've had that happen before, Kevin.
A couple times, but that was a different life. So this is really interesting. I want to see where this goes, this AI brain hub thing. But it's bringing together, like they have a ton of devices. I was shocked at how many devices they actually have.
Yeah.
And it's bringing that all together now. So it's their vision to take over your home.
I've been thinking about grabbing one of those roller shades. I saw that someone in the hub had purchased 2 of them. So I'm curious to see how they're installed.
They look pretty nice for the price, honestly.
Yeah, the price is good. And since you can cut them to match, like I have this ugly thing behind me here that's just, it's the ugliest thing possible on the wall over there. But it could look a lot better if it was just it could look a lot better even if it's a Switchbot roller shade, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Like, think about if the AI hub can do things like, it knows you're still sleeping in the morning or whatever, and it won't open your shades. Or then it will know when you wake up and nobody's, sleeping, then it will open the shades. Or it will know how much sun's on that side of the house and keep the shades closed until the sun goes to the other side of the house. Like all those things today we program ourselves. But if this just does it knowing it, it's kind of like, another mom for your house.
I'll wait and see on that one. I'm okay with the little random hub that's over there that controls the shades across the house. It actually does a pretty good job because it's in the garage out here with me and clear across the house, which is a decent amount. Through a kitchen, it still is able to control and update shades. So that's kind of nice.
I just need these window blinds with these fun designs on them. That's what I need.
The roller shades?
Yeah, I mean, you go to some of the pictures on the Switchbot website. They got little fun prints and stuff built on them.
That would be cool. Shade stickers.
Yeah.
So as it unrolls, like something, a picture starts to come.
It's kind of like the IKEA Symphonic speakers, where you get the different covers for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, there you go. Seth, shade stickers. There's a new thing for you.
Shade stickers. Buy the domain.
There you go.
There you go. I sent it to you, Seth.
Oh, wow. So that's opinionated.
You definitely see that in a house in Florida here soon.
Yeah. It'll end up here for sure, especially the weird zebra thing. But yeah. I think I would. That looks like a shower curtain. Like
maybe that's the vibe you're going for.
Yeah, maybe the dollar store shower curtain. That's you guys nailed it. Nailed it, guys. Good job.
I want to get one with my face printed on it and send it to you.
That would be fun.
Off right now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
it's like $105 for a roller shade right now.
I'm gonna get one. Get one with like Jesus's face on it, and then put it in your kid's room. So that Jesus will always be watching them. They'll think twice about doing something bad.
So can you print on them? Is that like,
I don't know. That's what I was trying to find out. I don't think they've
nothing on the product page about this.
Yeah.
Wait, there's 45% off, so I can. That's a hell of a deal. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and order one of these right now.
Jeez, it's always 40% off, Seth.
Is it really? Oh crap! It just went down to 35. What did I do?
Just leave it in your cart for a day. And
no! Right. It's one of those things. Yeah. I'll think about it. This actually says pre-order. That's crummy. So I can't actually get these. They're not available yet. All right. Well, maybe when they're 45% off. All right, let's move on here. We've got more topics beside this. We've got Tapo. I think this is killer. They've introduced the DL100 Smart Deadbolt door lock, priced at $69.
Nice.
That's US dollars,
Yeah.
just, for the record.
Well, it's basically the same thing in Canada now because of tariffs. So.
This budget-friendly electronic door lock offers multiple unlocking options, including a keypad, physical key, Tapo mobile app, and voice commands through the old Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Samsung SmartThings. Doesn't have fingerprint scanner, but it's got both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity. And for $69, I mean, that's a great price.
Yeah. Honestly, you can't really beat that. I mean,
it doesn't look bad either.
Yeah. It looks relatively normal.
It does.
It definitely only comes in one color, but this looks normal. I'm fine with it. And it's got physical buttons. I mean, bring back physical buttons.
And it's got a key. Like that's big there because usually when you want to buy a lock that also includes a key, they want to charge you another $100.
4 AA's, and it also allows you to temporarily power it using a USB-C port. I mean, I think they did a great job with this. I mean, the design looks really nice, especially for the outside. I guess that's the outside piece that you're walking up to. The back motorized section piece, that's not all that great. But what can you do with that? It's a battery pack with the brains and stuff and motor and stuff inside of it. Roughly looks like what my Akara one looks like, maybe a little bit bigger. But the front, I mean, that actually looks really nice. Can't complain. Good job, Tapo.
$5 per button is the price on this one. And that's assume if there's 2 buttons on the inside where the battery cover is, which looks like it.
Does look like that.
So
for pairing and that kind of thing, yeah.
Cheap. Because I paid I have a Yale Z-Wave lock, and I think I paid like $200 at least for it. I'd probably pay more than that, but
I'd recommend this one. I mean, I don't know how well it works for $70.
I mean, TP-Link stuff in general isn't too bad. I think it's definitely one of the better budget brands out there. I've only used really their cameras and a couple smart plugs and stuff like that. But for the price, I think they're all relatively good.
It's killer price. All right, well. Keep it on that. If anybody gets one, let us know how it works. It's $10 cheaper than the Wyze lock bolt. So, all right. Here's something fun. Google has integrated its Gemini AI into the Home APIs. That's enough AIs and APIs for you. This is going to help enhance smart home capabilities for developers and users. And it was announced last week at the Google I/O conference and extends Gemini's AI features like camera analytics and conversational language routines to third-party app developers. So developers can leverage these APIs to create smart home automations using natural language, new triggers like date and weather, potentially simplifying a setup process. For instance, AI-generated descriptions from Nest cameras can be generated into apps like ADTs, allowing users to ask questions like, did the kids leave their bikes in the driveway? And it'll tell you. That's pretty cool. Additionally, developers can incorporate features like live streaming, two-way talk to the Nest cameras. APIs also support devices connected through Matter, expanding control to over 750 million devices. There we go. This is actually kind of cool. I think this is it's cool. Like they're gonna kill it in like 5 years, right? But I mean, this is like what we've kind of been waiting on, is to have this little ask it a question and it responds with the correct answer, maybe about if the kids left the bikes in the driveway, right? So it seems kind of cool.
This is kind of like moving towards what we wanted, right? And
yeah.
What the Amazon was saying they were bringing to us, but we still don't see anywhere today. I wonder when this is going to reach us.
Yeah, this is honestly really cool. This is the kind of stuff I think AI can be good for, where it's like, writing a little story or making a little artwork. I think that's silly. This is the kind of stuff that I think AI would be useful for. Mm-hmm. Making the advanced automations for specific triggers or when it sees people, that kind of thing, and just making it super easy to use. Because for the most part, advanced automation stuff is such a pain to set up, and there's so many different variables, and you have to think about all these different things, and AI can just do that for you.
Yeah, getting it all customized and everything. Yeah, it'd be nice. Well, it'll be cool when they get it all up and going, and then it'll probably work for 5 years, and they'll shut the whole thing down for whatever the next big thing is at Google. I just can't trust you, Google. I'm sorry, I can't trust you. I don't trust you.
If anybody can do it, it really is Google, but they're their own worst enemy at this point. So
yeah, their track record is just not great. I mean, well, anyway, let's move on here. We've got some really interesting things from TCL here. Speaking of automatic things, TCL has introduced the 2025 QD Mini LED TVs. We've got another LED type here, QD Mini. Features Dolby Flex Connect technology, which automatically calibrates wireless speakers for the optimal surround sound. So basically, you get in your room, you get the TV, you get Flex Connect TCL Z100 smart speakers, and you pair them with the TV, and you hit like calibrate this, and it goes around and automatically calibrates those speakers to your TV. I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of like what we used to do with receivers, but you just use your smart speakers. Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Isn't this what Sonos was talking about for the longest time with their...
Oh, yeah, you don't have to wave your arms around and your phone around in the air. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Sonos was talking about doing this originally with the microphones and stuff that they had in their speakers, and some of them do this in a sense. They auto calibrate and stuff like that. But I don't want to do the hand wavy thing. Just make it work.
And I agree. The cool thing about this is you can place speakers anywhere in the room. Like sometimes you don't have the right room for, where speakers should properly be placed, right? I know my family room is not the right shaped room, but I do what I can with it. This will calibrate those speakers so that no matter where they are, they will sound better. And I like that.
Yeah. I was looking for a price on these Z100s.
If you have to ask, you can afford it.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Buy a Switchbot shades instead.
Probably should.
Around $210. They're in the Chinese market. Global launch is expected in 2025.
For one speaker?
It appears so. There's not like a ton of information on it. They're still not actually available right now. So
they look nice. There's a Sony surround sound that kind of does this, right? Like it has 4 speakers. They used to be round, like these TCLs, and now they're square. I was looking at them the other day because I was like, I should get these. It's a very expensive setup, and you either have like really good results with them or like you hate them. So it's kind of one of those products. But this looks pretty cool because it'll give you kind of that same setup and surround sound, but just popping the speakers in. So good for you, TCL. All right, moving on here. We've got MyQ, a company we don't talk about often. Because we don't like them very much. But Chamberlain is expanding MyQ, the home automation ecosystem, to launch 2 new security devices. They've got a MyQ smart outdoor camera. It's the first and the first ever MyQ video doorbell. So if you like MyQ and you're in that ecosystem, I know a lot of people actually are. It's not an uncommon thing to have people activate those, the remote control stuff on, not everybody's doing RAT, GDO, and Home Assistant, right? Like most normal people out there are using MyQ, and you're in the MyQ ecosystem. This might be a good offering for you. They got a smart doorbell with AI detection, and then they've got a smart camera with AI detection. They've got a video doorbell as well that will, basically replace Ring and that kind of thing. So, what do you guys think?
In the smart home space, I think MyQ has really burned a lot of people. I just think they just like have a lot of people just don't like MyQ after what we went through them over the last few years and have found other ways to move on. So I have a feeling they will not even bother with this.
You say that. But that's
no.
That's in the home space. Like that's
what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's us Reddit nerds, right? We don't care for this company.
Not Reddit nerds, but anybody that wants something that integrates, because more than likely this isn't going to integrate with anything properly either, right?
Just itself, yeah.
So most of us will probably not even bother. But then there's all those other people who just, they have the MyQ app. They control their garage door with it, and they're happy with just that. Maybe they'll jump on this, but I find like most of those people will probably have a Ring doorbell anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll see where this goes.
I do have a couple friends in real life that really love their MyQ stuff. So I could see them doing something like this.
Yep.
I mean, it does what it does. I mean, it opens the door and closes the door. And that's all you want to do with MyQ, then fine. It works for you, right? But once you start want to automate other things with it, forget it. Like, it's not worth it.
Yet.
And up here, MyQ is pretty much included in every garage door opener we buy now, right? Like, so it's almost like no matter, everybody has it. Unless you have an old garage door or some off-brand one, you pretty much have MyQ up here. So that's kind of why people are tied to it, is because it came with their system. It's free. I think it's free when you buy. I haven't bought a garage door opener in a while, but I think if you buy it, it's free. Unless you get the add-ons or some other stuff. But Yeah, I don't know. I just think most people will have a Ring doorbell. Ring has become like the Kleenex of doorbells I found up here.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
Well, kind
when
of the
people
same
talk
thing.
about doorbells, everyone's like, "Oh, you have a Ring," and they'll call non-Ring doorbells like my unified doorbell. They'll still call it, "Oh, you got a Ring," and we all know what you're talking about. I have a smart doorbell.
Well, I think the same thing applies to garage door openers. Like, like if you say, "Oh, I got a smart garage door opener," then you're like, "Oh, you got a MyQ?" Because that's really, I mean, the only, like you said, it comes with literally every brand because it's all one brand that makes all of the motors and everything here in the States. And I think there's like one more that's like way down the line, but somehow they've been able to monopolize the entire North American market. And they've got tons and tons and tons of these MyQ garage doors out there. And like you said, I think it's either free or very low cost. And people do find value in either checking to see if their garage door is open or, being able to open and close it remotely and that kind of thing. I think for most normal people out there who don't really care about that, it integrates with everything else. Like, I don't know. I could see them saying, "Oh, MyQ has a doorbell. I'll get that because it could just be in the same app as my garage door, which I use every day." So
wasn't MyQ also working with Amazon for package delivery or something like that too?
Yeah, I think they did that for some time.
I think a friend of mine pinged me about that too. So they can come, open your garage door, put the package in there, close it. I think MyQ also had a camera too, so you can watch them while they're doing it. Yeah. So they have a little ecosystem coming up. So.
Yep, keep an eye on them. They could be the next big thing in home automation over there at MyQ.
Man, it makes more sense than Roku, doesn't it?
It does, actually. It makes more sense than a lot of companies. All right, let's move on here. We've got Kaleidoscape, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum here. Launches a new video player, the Strato E. It's an entry-level 4K movie player designed for residential, marine, and commercial theater setups. It's positioned somewhere between the flagship Strato V and the Strato M reference 2K player. The Strato E supports 4K video output with SDR, HDR10, and Dolby Vision, as well as Dolby Atmos, DTS:X audio. Features 480 GBs of solid-state storage, enough for approximately 6 4K films.
That's it?
Yeah, well, you don't need that many.
If I had to choose 6 films that I could watch over and over and over again,
it's not that. Like they have kind of like a rental service or whatever. You download the films and it kind of like downloads in the background or whatever, and then they're there ready for you when you're ready to sit down and watch.
How many thousands is it, Seth?
I don't know. It's probably thousands.
Yeah,
more than the 4K Apple TV. They have like this. They have like one of the nicer streaming services where you can download titles either ahead of time. I don't remember what it was. Like you can download like a true 4K copy of it, like that had more features than Blu-ray or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, Kaleidoscape. It still exists. Still in business.
Still got gigabit Ethernet.
I mean, you don't need more than you don't need more than that.
Come on, I need to download it fast, Seth. I need to download a lot of stuff and fast. Big files. I'm not going to buy this, so I don't need it.
No. I don't either.
I don't have this much money.
Yeah, I don't really have a screen that would take advantage of this either, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of it. They have like the different streaming, like the HDR options and for a lot of movies that I don't think you can get everywhere. I don't remember what the appeal of this is. I know that like if you have a yacht, if you're one of these people that have a yacht and you need to like go sailing, you can download a bunch of videos to this server thing that they have and watch them on the yacht. So it makes a lot of sense there.
So this is the Strato V, you said?
Strato V, yeah, it's a 2K player.
Strato E.
The Strato V 4K movie player is $6,000.
Oh.
Canadian.
I could buy 2 right now.
I think you still have to get other things to make that actually work, from what I remember.
The movie server goes up to 15,000 Canadian.
Yeah, there you go.
The Terra Prime solid state movie service, which has 31 terabytes, can go up to 35,595 Canadian. So, it's cheaper just to build an Unraid server.
Yeah, but that's nothing for your yacht, like who cares?
It's cheaper to buy a yacht Unraid server for your yacht. Like build your own. Like this is a little, it gets,
I gotta say, I'll push back on this a little bit. I am having this problem now with my Unraid server and my Plex and whatever. Like,
well, that's you in Texas.
I know, but if I had lots of money, that wouldn't be a problem because I just buy a Kaleidoscape, right? And
that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. Yeah,
this is for those people that they have time to watch one movie a month or something like that, and they have the money to buy $40,000 Terra Prime full size movie server. Damn.
Yep.
I wish I was one of those people, but.
I mean, like, I start playing a movie the other day and it just like, it plays 3 frames and locks up. It's like, oh, come on. And you go check it. And it's like, oh, it downloaded some kind of like super high resolution version. I'm like, I don't need this. Just give me the 720p. Like, I'm going to delete this in like 5 minutes anyway. So now I got to go force the stupid thing to download the 720p. And it takes like 10 years to find all these news articles that have whatever. I don't even know how it works. It's magic, Gavin. I don't know. You told me to set it up this way. I set it up.
I didn't tell you to set it up. Don't put that on me.
I think the statute of limitations is over.
Because if I told you how to set it up, it would have been working.
Yeah, well, I've used all the trash files or whatever. I don't remember what it's called. The trash guides?
Yeah, they keep, you just have to tweak them.
Yeah, I used all that. It still messes up. And so, like, again, if I don't want to have that problem ever, you buy the 35,000 Kaleidoscape server thing, and then you pay $6,000 for a player, and you're good to go, right? So
I guess how much is this inconvenience worth to you? You know?
Well, I mean, if you ask my wife,
yeah, is this problem a $35,000 problem? Or?
Yeah, I don't think it's the $35,000 problem, but it was definitely a problem when we sit down to watch Tom Cruise and nothing played. So there we go.
Oh yeah,
I do not get Mission Impossible at all. Like, slow. I kept falling asleep. It's like slow movies. Anyway, let's move on here. Apollo Automation has released as is now, they have the R Pro -1 PoE mmWave multi-sensor. It's now released and available. Offers smart home automation with precise motion and presence detection, as well as environmental monitoring. So it's got humidity sensor on it, I think. Some other stuff on it. It's got the presence detector. It's got CO2 monitoring, light, and UV as well. So maybe not humidity, but it's got a bunch of sensors on it. I thought it was just going to be a mmWave thing. No, they're going to put a bunch of other sensors on this thing and pack it all together in a nice PoE-powered little device. $67. Not bad.
Yeah, super cheap. Go ahead and guess how many entities this device has. I have one actually sitting right next to me right now.
Are we going to start doing a price per entity?
We should.
We actually talked about it at the Home Assistant meetup that this device probably gives you the most entities per device, the Apollo devices, but I'm looking at like 60.
60 is your guess. How many is your guess, Seth? Seth doesn't even know what an entity is. It's 148.
Oh my.
So many entities. So Justin gave me one at the Home Assistant meetup, and I got it set up. It didn't even have the firmware on it. He just literally just brought it, and then I was like, "Hey, this doesn't work." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you gotta flash it." So I was able to flash it. It's got this bright light on there. So if you can see right now, it's got a big old RGB bright light on there. So you can
I disable those
stuff.
Yeah, I disable.
I mean, I'm not disabling them. That's fun. It's just got so much stuff in there. I really haven't had much time to play with it yet. But it tells you the distance and the angle that they're at, and like how many people, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to implement this. For some reason, I have an Ethernet cable in my bathroom, and this is going to go in my bathroom.
And what I like about these devices, you could 3D print your own case for them, right? And make it fit however you want. That's really cool.
Yeah, this is going to get recessed. It's going to be like a Unify Protect PoE, basically. Or I bought, actually, when I bought our house, I bought some in-ceiling mmWave sensors, but they're like mains powered, and there was like no junction box or anything for them. But if you've seen those on like AliExpress or eBay, they have a 3D printed, or they have an enclosure that looks similar to that. So it's pretty nice looking when it's just in there.
I'd love to just PoE my whole house and just get things everywhere.
Right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
I know.
This thing has a ton of options that you can get onto. You can add on another millimeter wave sensor for $5, the LD2412. I guess that helps you find resting and seated people.
Yeah, I think it's more sensitive probably.
And then you can add, I guess, adding the SCD40 CO2 temperature humidity sensor thing for another $20 adds another $25 onto the price. So it's not 67. It comes up to about $100, which is more than my car one.
Well, when you pimp it out,
yeah. But they have all the they have 3D printed gang box mounts, front facing USB wall charger. They've got a bunch of stuff here that you can basically pick and choose. Like I can't do anything with that car one, right? But I can get what I want out of this one exactly. Like I can just customize it here and buy what I want.
I mean, you have 148 different options with this that you can mess around with. So many options.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I like that it's PoE. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and honestly, for the price, there were some people on like Reddit and Facebook, I think, that were complaining. They're like, "That's way too much money." And I was like, "Where else do you get a PoE powered smart home sensor for under $100?"
Yeah.
First of all, there's not many options available anyway. But PoE powered, like, come on, that is a luxury item. And $67 is very cheap for what it.
Well, I might buy one of these. The problem is I don't know if I need the PoE for what I want to use it for. I don't know if I need PoE for it.
I mean, you're not even going to run wires, so
yeah.
You don't even run an HDMI cable.
HDMI? What would I do that for? Well, this looks pretty cool. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I might pick one of these up just because it makes it easy to implement and if you get all your entities and everything in there and you don't have to do any like hoop jumping like I have to do with the car to get that into Home Assistant. Oh, this might be the way to go because I can actually use those triggers and everything from the entities or whatever a lot faster than they can going through a car. Right now, my wife has to ask me, "Hey, can you check the app thing to make sure that she's in bed?" I'm like, I look at it. I'm like, I see her little icon dancing around on the end of the bed, and like, oh, I think she's going for toys. So she's like getting out of the bed, running back and grabbing toys, and you can see all that. I mean, it's amazing how accurate and everything that little interface is. They did a really good job putting that together over the car, but. I don't know. This looks pretty cool too. Then I wouldn't even have to ask her the question. I could just like change a light in the room to red or something if she's out of bed, after we put her to bed or whatever. So the other night I just yelled, "Get into bed!" And you just see the little icon run back and jump into the middle of bed. It's really funny. Parenting, modern. She just doesn't stand any chance. Like the sensors are just going to get better and better and better, and I'm going to be able to do this automatically.
Are you going to be putting the AI horn in her room? Like, that's the next step, and then tied it to AI so that it knows when she left, it'll be like, "Hey, get back in bed," Poor kid.
The other night, like I thought she was asleep already. I probably started it too early. But I went into the car app to check, and then I noticed that there's firmware updates to do. Completely forgetting that the car thing has like a bright LED on it that turns yellow and blinks very bright in a dark room.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. Well, it did that for, I don't know, way too long. Woke her up, freaked her out, and she came running out, really worried that the house was going to burn down or something. I don't know. But she was not happy about that. And it kept going off. It kept going. It said it was 90. It was like the TiVo thing. 99% there, almost done. It just sat there for a while. And I just hear her yell from the other room, like, "It's still blinking!" It's like, I know, go to bed.
Close your eyes.
Close with your pillow over your face or something. Oh, man. Don't do updates at night. Do them during the day.
My change window is always 9 a.m. because then I have the 8 hours or so to fix the issues that come up. So, I don't do change at night.
Yeah, it's one of those mistakes. Whoops, didn't mean to press that button. I mean, I did, but I didn't. And it was like, after I pressed it, I'm like, oh, that thing's going to blink, isn't it? And sure enough, 2 minutes later, she comes running out all upset because this thing's blinking in her room. Anyway, that she'd never even paid attention to. That's the funny part. It's like, she knows it was up there. She just didn't know what it was. And kind of like, yeah, that's the thing that makes sure you're in bed. Now she knows where it is, so she may go mess with it.
PoE mmWave sensor. You just hide it behind a blank plate. Bam, problem solved.
It sounds really good. All right, well, all the links to topics we discussed tonight can be found over on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/530. We do have something in the mailbag today. It says, "Hey gents, just listened to your latest episode. TJ, heard you were doing some more irrigation and smart garden work. I always use Home Assistant integrations page as my yes/no decision, so I went with the Yardian controller, which has a local control for solenoid valves. The app and integration aren't the best, but it makes it easy to just have a switch to turn on and off zones. It does support a flow meter that you can put on, which I haven't been able to get working properly, but it might be worth a look. P.S. Hey, Gavin." I guess he's just saying that because he wants to get into the HomeTech.social. So approve his account. He seems legit. So
Yeah, he's legit.
he says, cheers, Phil. This is Phil over at Home Assistant Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. And I messed up. This is actually from like 2 weeks ago, and we skipped over like 2 weeks in a row. So I'm sorry about that, Phil. And this is actually, I'll talk about this a little more on projects. But I think I need to go this route. I just don't know anything about the solenoids and water valves and stuff like that.
Oh, they're easy.
I don't know if I'm
It's
trying
very
to jump
easy.
into it this year. Is it easy?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys can help me with it.
Yeah, just let me know.
Right. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know, Seth. No, I think right now I'm just using some like Sonoff hose controllers basically, and it works good enough. But this is really what I need for like a more professional solution in the long run.
Yeah, a good Yardian controller. I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nice. It's like $170 for 8 zones.
Oh, wow. That is pretty good.
So that's not bad. And it's Home Assistant compatible according to their Amazon listing.
Does it have, since it's Home Assistant compatible, I'm wondering if it has like local control?
I would assume so. I mean, because it works with HomeKit as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
HomeKit, you have to have local control, don't you?
Yeah.
See, this has 8 zones, but it's got 12 connections on it.
Yeah, it's got a local, so it must have a local IP. I'm looking at the setup for the Home Assistant thing. It's got the IP address, and then it's got the an access token, which generally means like it's got a local IP address, I guess you say, and an access token. So that's actually pretty good. Wow. Okay, that seems really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that might be the way to go. I might actually swap out my my Beehive thing.
Man, Seth has spent so much money on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that I'll probably never buy any of this stuff. I'm definitely not buying the Kaleidoscape, so that's not.
Well,
That's
there you go.
fine.
Just transfer
Fine.
that over. Use that money instead for this.
You saved that money.
Yeah.
Eh.
All 40,000.
TJ math.
That's right.
All right. Pick of the week. Well, the only pick of the week is the pictures that will be showing up for from the Home Assistant meetups this weekend. So we'll put those on our website. So if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for show, give us a shout. Email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback, fill out the online form. Project updates. Well, first, there is an update from Home Assistant that is going to deprecate core and supervised installation methods. I saw this and I'm freaked out and I'm like, wait, is this what I have running? And I don't think it is. I think this is something else. What is this? What is this, Gavin?
The core is kind of, I think, when you install it, the whole Python environment. So you have like your little Linux box and you install like almost like the source code on it, right? And you manage it that way. Painful way to manage Home Assistant. I don't know why anyone would do that, but
people like pain.
To each their own. And the supervised, I can't remember how that was. The installation was done, but they're also getting rid of like 32-bit versions or old versions. Older hardware, and I can see why, because it's harder to support all these situations. It allows them to concentrate more on a few installation methods. It's easier to support in the long term. So I'm not against this. They did their research and they found this should not affect many people. However, they look at the numbers from the Home Assistant installations that are reporting in. I don't know how many Home Assistant installations are not reporting in. So there may be more people affected, but I really think it
doesn't matter because they're not going to update, right? They're just going to stay.
And I always tell people the easiest way to run Home Assistant is just run the Home Assistant OS. It's just so much easier, especially when dealing with add-ons and stuff like that. Like if you run a Docker container, you're going to have to run Docker containers for each of the add-ons. So you have to run MQTT Docker container, Zigbee to MQTT Docker container, Z-Wave to MQTT. It's just, and then updating it. Everyone has their way of doing it, but it just seems like so much extra work when it could be put into updating your dashboards instead, right? So I'm not against this. It's just, another iteration.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. They say that this affects like the first generation and maybe second generation of Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Like, so like not even the Raspberry Pi 2 or 3. I think the 3B is like if I have a Raspberry Pi sitting on and I do, there's one sitting on my desk right here. Amazing. Look at that. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B. Like no one has anything older than this. This is ancient. Like
2012 is when the first one came out.
Yeah. Come on. Like it's time to get a new Raspberry Pi and update.
You can't even install Windows 11 on machines older than like that old.
Oh, it's Windows, but
that's because Windows is dumpster fire.
Well, we can't install the latest Mac OS on anything older than 2 years. So I mean,
no, and if you have an old Mac, which I do, I have an old Mac, one of the white clamshell ones. If you crank that up and try and get online, forget it because it doesn't have any of the modern you can't even run like a browser on it or anything. Like
exactly.
you can't get online because all of the modern Cypher suites depend on like things that it can't download and update. I'm sure there's a way I could do it, but I'm not going to because why would I? It's a legacy computer at this point. So yeah 64 bits the way to go. Turns out that's 64 is better than 32. So Raspberry Pi 3 and 4, if you have one of those, you don't have anything to worry about. If you're in the Docker container, you don't have anything to worry about. Or if you run the Home Assistant OS like I am, like Gavin told me to do, that seems to be fine and doing fine. So there you go. Hosting your own home automation system. I guess if you're using that, like you're probably fine with what it's doing because it's like, what'd you say, TJ? 2012? Like
yeah,
you haven't updated your system since 2012, or you're not like you're probably okay. Like
it's not a smart thermostat. You can't use it forever.
Right? It doesn't have a 30-year life expectancy on Home Assistant. So it reminds me, I probably need to update mine. Right? How do I find my Home Assistant?
Wow, you just said that live.
Well, it used to be like 8123. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. When I did the was it the
just
Nabu
the DNS
Casa thing?
homeassistant.local 8123.
That's what I did. I found it. Okay. Oh, guess what, guys? I have an update.
Of course. I think there's up to 0.3 right now for.
I'm going from 0.1 to 0.3. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, I'm supposed to install the core update first. What?
Do your updates in order, sir.
What? I don't know what to do first. It have a supervisor and a core. Which one should I do first?
Oh, it doesn't matter, but do the supervisor first.
It evidently does. Couldn't do the core until I did the supervisor. So here we go.
Exactly. YOLO.
All right. Update and wipe settings. Done. All right. TJ, what you been up to?
So I mainly just did the Home Assistant meetup last week. But I also did, I got a couple of new things. I got the beta Innovelli mmWave switches. I got the Z-Wave version. And so I got those installed. They work great. What I really like about them is that they are mmWave switches, but they're not much different than their regular switches. So I have the Blue Series switches all throughout the house. Literally every switch is a Blue Series switch at this point. The only difference is that there's a tiny little pinhole that's below the action button or the config button, whatever you want to call that little button there. That's the only thing that's different about it. So I like that part of it. I'm on a journey right now to update the firmware on it, which has caused me to switch over to Z-Wave JS UI, which is an awful name, by the way, because the other one is just Z-Wave JS.
It's very confusing.
I don't know why they changed it, because when I started using it originally, I had it on an old instance. It was Z-Wave to MQTT, which makes way more sense. It's a longer name. That's fine, though. But I'm in the process of switching over to that so I can easily update the switch because they sent me new firmware, but I can't update it through the regular Z-Wave method. So I haven't got too much time to play with those. I can't really use them in my primary areas because I use Philips Hue bulbs everywhere. And these are Z-Wave. So I had to install them. I installed one at my front door, which controls my outside light. And then I installed one at my back door, which controls my outside light as well, which means I'm still able to use them for my living room and my den. So the mmWave detection seems to work pretty good, but I do need to update them. So hopefully I can do that this week and finally get them configured and everything.
Nice.
I talked about it a little bit ago, but I got the Apollo Automation mmWave PoE sensor as well. Similar boat. I mean, I just got it this weekend, so I haven't had a ton of time to play with it. I will say I literally just have the electronics for it. I have the front enclosure for it. It's such a small device for what it is. It fits in the palm of my hand. Gets a little toasty. I'm not really sure how that's going to do long term. It is a little hot, but it's not like super concerning or anything like that. If
Maybe you don't trust the temperature sensor?
If you've touched a Ubiquiti access point at any point in your life, or a switch or a router, then it's about the same temperature. So I think it'll be fine.
You'll be all right. Yeah.
So only first degree burns.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But it's pretty nice. It's so crazy how small it is and how many different entities and what all it can do. So I'm pretty excited about diving into it and just seeing what else I can do with it. This is the year of mmWave, isn't it? Everybody's coming out with new mmWave sensors. They're so cheap now. They got battery ones coming out. So this is pretty exciting because mmWave is really the next step forward with motion. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like the lights to turn on instantly when I walk into a room, which is why I have motion detectors everywhere. But I needed to know that I'm still in there so the lights don't turn off.
Yes.
mmWave is going to help me accomplish that.
I don't know. I saw this guy on YouTube. He had a bunch of those GE.
Oh, man.
All right. I've got to get one of those. It sounds like a lot of fun. So
it's pretty fun. And then I do have an unfortunate update. I've been talking about my Aquaflower. I think the past couple episodes, I was pretty excited. We had Maxwell on the show last year. We talked about the Aquaflower. I received mine, and it just wasn't up to my expectations for something that was going to live outside, for 6 months out of the year. And so I did have to return it. I let him know my complaints about it. Basically it just comes down to design at this point. I still really like the product and I want it to get better. Right. And so I think at some point I will explore buying this again if basically they come out with a new enclosure for it. The enclosure that was being used for it, I just didn't really have a good weather seal on it. Some of the components didn't really seem sealed properly against the elements. So like if it did get water inside the case, it probably wouldn't have lasted very long. And that's a lot to take on for a $350 device, right? You want to be able to leave this thing outside and not really worry about it any in case, unless you hit it with your weed whacker or something like that. At that point, that's your fault. But it didn't seem like something I wanted to spend the money on at that point, which is a little unfortunate. But
yeah, it seems like a really cool product. It's a great idea.
It's such a unique product, right? Because there's nothing else that exists like it. It's really the only thing I've ever seen like it, minus the hose control valves, which I'm basically stuck to using at this point. So I need to look into the Yardian and how to set up that kind of system because I think that's just what I need to do, unfortunately. So Smart Garden is still in process, but we've diverted and we have to make different plans now.
Yeah. You're still going to use a drip style irrigation?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And I ran all my irrigation lines now. So technically I have 3 different zones, and each zone has 2 feeds off of it. And it's like 3 garden beds basically per zone. So we have a lot of garden beds, unfortunately.
I noticed. I've seen your pictures, and I'm like, TJ, stop, no.
Yeah, I don't think you realize how many garden beds I have. So many garden beds, and I keep adding more every year. So I'm going to need a system that I can expand and change with, and everything like that. Right. So the hose control valves are nice if you have a smaller setup. Not really nice if you have 10 plus beds, though. I have 1 spigot. And I have one of those little converters that converts it to 4 different spigots. I don't think they make an 8 one though. I don't think I'm going to be able to go to a 12 one. So
you're going to have to learn how to do plumbing and PVC glue. That's all there is to it.
I can do it.
That's easy. Yeah. It's glue.
We got the technology. I can huff it at the same time. So
exactly, it makes for a fun day until you realize how much you've covered yourself in glue, and that it doesn't come out of your clothes once it's in there. Yeah. So, whoops.
Yeah, and I did want to give a special shout out to everybody that came out to the Home Assistant Community Day in Columbus. So that was it was a really fun event. I know we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but that was a big project in and of itself, just getting all the people together and figuring out what we're going to do. And, we didn't end up doing some of that stuff, but that was a really fun thing. And I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I was digging in sand. I sent you pictures, TJ, because I knew that you were supposed to come help and you didn't want to help. So it's all right. I had to dig sand, buried a bunch of cable.
Ugh.
Took 45 minutes to dig 5 feet because you dig down and then the sand just collapsed back in on itself. It's really annoying. I don't know anybody who does this for a living. They probably use a big machine or something. So,
Nah, let's have low-paid people do it.
Not me. Yeah. Just very frustrating. And I ran a bunch of wire, installed a bunch of speakers, toned them out. So at least I know like from the splice point that I have, like it's kind of a pole that's outside. From that point on, everything's good, but I didn't know if the amplifier was still good. Probably not, because it went through the hurricane and like the speakers were underwater for quite some time, and I'm sure the amp was still on, whatever. So I went and turned it on. Nothing came out. I have to go back and look at it one of these days. We already have another amp, but it just figured, hey, why not? Turn it on. 70 volts should work, right? Who knows? So I've got to swap that out, and then maybe that project will be all done. Probably beginning next week sometime. But at the house here, I swapped out my finally swapped out my lawnmower blades from 3 blades. Now I have 6 blades.
Ooh.
6 blades.
They're cutting super fast now.
I guess. I have no idea. Like you can hear it making more noise. And it's kind of cool that you go from like having 3 blades to 6 blades. But I started looking at it, I'm like, well, now I'm going to have to replace 6 blades every time I place the blades. Like, what?
Yeah,
why
but
did I
you
do
replace
this?
them once every, you replace them twice as often, or half as often.
Half is off.
We need to ask Wayne about this.
Yeah.
Wayne, does this matter?
I don't know. I think the next time I go and replace them, I'm just going to put the 3 one back on and call it a day.
I bought the 6-blade one as well too, so I'm gonna upgrade mine.
It's probably the easiest upgrade. You just pull these like 3 Allen wrench screws out, and then pop the new blades on, the 6 blades on, put it all back together, and you're off to the races. It's kind of nice. Like things are growing now because it's raining daily, almost daily. We've gotten some rain in the past few days, and when I say like, guys, the grass does grow. I took a picture of this the other day. I'll put this in our hub so you can see like what it looks like after a day of things happening. But you can also see that like things are actually getting mowed, which is kind of nice. So there's like if you kind of like stoop down, and I took this picture, like you can see how fast the grass grows in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the lawnmowers out there just going at it, and now I've got to step up my weed whacker game, get out there and clean up the edges a little bit better, because the grass it'll grow like 2 or 3 inches in a day. It's kind of crazy.
That's why you need that weed whacker attachment, Seth.
Yeah, I suppose.
You get the blinds, you need the weed whacker.
Maybe not.
Your lawn would be perfect to sign to an image in or something. Have you tried doing that yet with the Navimo app?
Oh yeah, no. Well, okay. So I still have those brown spots, and the grass is growing there now. So like, whatever killed it, didn't really kill it, because the grass is strong. It's Florida, so it's coming back, and it just needs a little bit more water and time, and then it'll be a nice big green lawn eventually. But yeah, I definitely could sketch something in there. Not sure what I would do.
Yeah, just mess around and try something. Put like help and see if anyone notices.
SOS.
Yeah, in your lawn. Like it's built into the app. Apparently, you can do it easily.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if I could. How long? Well, I saw that it only does it for so long, and then it doesn't. It kind of resets after a while. So I don't know if that's like, I don't know. We'll have to see. The grass will really get growing this summer, so we'll have to see what happens then. But still having fun. We're still trying to get Wayne on. Maybe we'll have him on next week and chat with him next week to kind of go over what Navimo's up to, and hopefully see what they're going to be doing in the future. But I have 2 projects I've officially been putting in charge of that I think are, well, I probably have more stuff I'm supposed to do around the house, but this is what my wife told me to do, and it's the only thing I remember because it sounds kind of fun to do. One is getting a new soundbar, right? So like I've still got to replace the soundbar system.
We're gonna get you a vessel.
I edited our show finally and listened to what we said again. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's a pretty nice system. So I'm kind of leaning that way, just because it's like doesn't involve anything else. It's just a speaker, right? It hooks up. It works.
Imagine that. Speakers that just you connect and they work.
Yeah.
Isn't that a crazy concept?
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's not going to be a Sonos, because that's the second part of that isn't true. So, But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Vessel just because it's a nice looking soundbar. It seems like it works all right. The price is right, especially when you compare it to the higher end Sonos soundbars. So I don't know. Lean in that direction. I'll figure it out one of these days after I get done playing around with my new AI horn, because I ordered one of those, of course.
When do you get it?
Monday.
Nice.
So on the other side of the weekend.
Can't wait. Can't wait to get that in 3 years when you forget about it. You're like, actually, I do have one of those. It's under my desk.
It's been down here for 3 years, and
I got it. I never opened it.
What's that noise? It just announces things every now and then. Yeah. So AI horns coming in. I should have that. And then, we haven't really talked about it on the show here. I think I told you guys, but we've been in the process of adopting for a while. We finally got selected, and we have a new girl that we're going to adopt, and she's 6 years old, and she'll be moving in sometime in the summer. So I have to get another sensor for that door, because when my daughter's room, there's a sensor on her door. I can tell when she gets up, but I can't tell when the other room opens up. So my question to you guys is, should I go with the tried and true Eve sensor that I have, or should I get something else? Because I have options, right? I have the Aqara system here. Aqara's got a bunch of sensors. I've got Z-Wave sticks that I've never hooked up before.
Yeah, you need a Zeus door sensor.
Zeus door sensor too.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Got Shelly,
great,
right? I don't know. They've got all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you do have a lot of options. I don't know. I think a door sensor is it really just comes down to looks, honestly. Because what are you using it for? You're using it to know if it opens. Literally, if it opens after the hour of, after sunset, pretty much is what I think. That's why I like the Zeus ones. They're so small for what they are. I don't know what the Eve ones look like, though, to be honest. But the Zeus ones are really tiny. That's why I prefer them.
The Zoo's probably about the same size. Maybe the Eve's a little bit smaller, but fatter or something like that. The Zoo's looks pretty thin. So,
well, I guess it's one of those things. If you're happy with the Eve one, go back to the Eve. If you want to try something else, go with the Zeus.
I don't know. I feel like I need to get involved with Z-Wave at some point, right? I need to get involved with Zigbee or Z-Wave or start swapping stuff out. I've got those Z-Wave switches you sent, right? Those are Zeus with the little, yeah. Got to hook those up. I mean, they're installed. I just don't have them connected to anything because they're just in a bathroom and that kind of thing.
Some Z-Wave board director just became really excited because somebody said, "I want
to gotta check this Z-Wave thing out."
I want Z-Wave anymore. So the first one in many years. Finally, a new customer.
Yeah. So I'll have to check that out. This is 24. So this one's $24.95, and see that's way better than the than I think the other one is, which is a Matter. It's Matter native, but the problem is I have to have the little Apple HomePod thing kind of plugged in over in that area, and no one really likes it. So. For it to pick up the signal, it's got to be plugged in one of the rooms, and my wife doesn't want it in there, so it's got to come out, and I don't know what to do with it now. So I probably need to get two of these. So when I was looking at buying two of the Eve ones, I think it was close to $100 because they're way more expensive than $25.
Well, congratulations on the adoption. I'm sure your family is very excited for them.
Yeah. We're it's one of those like wait things, like the hope that kills you type things, because you never know. Mm-hmm. You're like sitting, you're like, hey, you're on the list, great job, but then like the ball starts rolling, and so here we are. It's gonna be a fun summer, that's for sure. It's going to get busy around here. It's not already busy enough.
More unfinished projects.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have a sensor though. That'll be cool.
You never install it, but you'll have a sensor.
Well, yeah. I mean, the problem is I'm going to have to, like, because it's used by more than me in the house, right? So I'll take a look at these and see what I can do. I also need to get I have the smoke alarm things installed from when I had my 2 gig panel, right? So I still have those installed. Now they still work, right? They'll still go off and make noise, but they're not hooked up to anything, right? For security monitoring. So I got to figure out I know you guys have eternally struggled with finding a smart smoke alarm that integrates with things. I don't have any wires in my house, for one. The house is old. So it's got to be battery powered. And those things work great, but I don't know what to change out to on those. Maybe there's a Z-Wave option, and I'll just be an all Z-Wave house.
There's a Z-Wave option. First Alert has a Z-Wave option. That's one I have.
They suck. Don't get them. Oh,
No, they work good for me.
mine have problems.
Oh, the Canadian ones work fine.
Well, you guys have better standards up there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Metric Fire.
Metric Fire.
I mean, it's not like I have tested it at all or anything like.
No, I just have like random disconnection issues, and I don't know, I've already replaced like 2 of them.
Oh,
I don't know.
mine's never disconnected. Nope.
Anyway, Gavin, what have you been up to?
Oh, it's been a busy week. Okay, so first, I finished my Blue Iris to Unify Protect migration. So,
Ooh. Wait, is Blue Iris unplugged now?
Nope. Okay. So Unify Protect is my main system. It does all the detections and we view it and all that stuff through that, right? But Blue Iris, I still have like the cameras are still streaming to the Blue Iris system because Blue Iris has an API that I utilize in some other ways, especially when it comes to like showing the video feeds on my TV and stuff like that. So when I have certain automations come up on our TV, they pop up in the corners. When certain motion in like the driveway or the front door, or even someone rings the front door, it pops up in the corners and we can see who's at the front door, what triggered it on the driveway, et cetera, et cetera. So to get those images and stuff, I couldn't do it through Protect. I know Protect added an API recently. I haven't figured out how to pull an image from it directly yet. The documentation kind of sucks, but Blue Iris just works. Right. So for now, I just have Blue Iris sitting there just for this. But all the detections, everything else, we use the Unify Protect directly. So it's working great now. And why I'm saying now is because over the last week, I've been trying to troubleshoot like not major problems, but it was a pain in the ass problem. And first of all, I have a bunch of AI ports and I don't know, I haven't seen this anywhere out there. So I'm just saying this because it has to be said somewhere, right? But they seem to come with some old firmware on it. And the problem with that old firmware seems to be hard coded to a specific IP address, 192.168.125. No idea why, right? So you plug them in, it sees the AI port, you go to adopt it and it fails to adopt. But in Protect, it shows it having that IP address. And then on your network side, it shows another IP address. So it's near impossible to figure out what's going on. So all I ended up doing was setting the IP address on the network side to be the .25 as well. And once I did that, the adoption started working. I then can upgrade the firmware. Then I could change the IP and give it another IP address or let it use DHCP or whatever. And it worked fine. So and I've had to do that on about 6 of them. So it seems to be like, and they were bought different times, different places. So it seems to be like an old firmware bug that I just had to say out loud somewhere in case anyone ever runs into this.
So when you plug them in, they start off at this random IP address.
The .25. And they show that IP address in the Protect side of things. But on the network side of things, they show another IP address.
Weird.
It's a really weird thing. So yeah, like I said, I hard-coded the IP address on the network side to match. And then at that point, it said, okay, let me adopt it. And then it got a firmware update. Must have been a bug in the firmware that they fixed. And then after it got the firmware update, I then reset all the IP addresses and let it go back to DHCP, or I hard-coded to something else.
I mean, you assume they fixed it.
Yeah, I assume they did. But in the end, I have to leave that 1.25 free just in case,
Right.
So that nothing else will take it. But, I found that issue. Another issue I had. So once you go down you guys never told me this before, but once you go down the Unify path, it's just a money suck, Yeah. So I had to upgrade my hard drive. So one of the things I was seeing a lot of was an error message saying Protect auto recovery successful. It kept doing that over and over again. And when I did research, it said it could be related to the speed of your hard drive. And I had a 5400, purple drive in there, and I wanted to upgrade it anyway to something larger. So I took the opportunity. I got an 8 terabyte, 7200 fast, drive and put it in there. And for the most part, that error went away, except for 2 cameras. No matter what I did with these cameras, I lowered resolutions. I went through all sorts of networking troubleshooting. I did so many things like over the course of a week to try and figure out why these 2 cameras keep giving me this issue and keep dropping off for some reason. And today, just today before this morning, I said, what the hell? Let me see if it's the port itself. So I swapped the two AI ports that were associated with these cameras. Errors went away. Makes no sense at all why it did this, because I've removed and added these cameras. I've removed and added these ports. I've done everything I can. And all I did was just go swap the two ports and associate them with the other device, and everything started working again. And it's been working perfectly fine. All the errors are gone. So now I'm totally happy because now it's working as intended. I'm not getting any errors. So it's fast response. Everything's working great. I'm 24/7 recording. The integration with Home Assistant, the face, vehicle, person, animal detections all work great. It's a nice system, so that's, if anyone's into Unify Protect or is looking at something, I would highly recommend Unify Protect. It's not cheap though. Significant price difference between this and something like Blue Iris, but it works very well.
I still have problems with the RTSP. Like I'm sitting here loading. It can take up to 2 or 3 minutes for a camera to show up if it ever shows up.
So what we got to look at is things like your camera settings, the frames per second you have it set up. Is it constant bitrate, variable bitrate? What's the resolution you have it set to? You got to kind of lower those down a bit so the AI port can.
Is that documented somewhere?
No. That's the thing is if your camera is too good, it doesn't work as well with if your camera, if you're using the AI port, it can only handle up to a certain resolution, et cetera, right?
Right.
If you're not using the AI port, I realize they do a lot of things that if you're using on-VIF cameras, they strip out a lot of features. I don't think they even record audio. It's just video. They won't let you restream the video, all sorts of, basically the most basic of basic things they will do if you're using the on-VIF. And I guess that's their way of pushing you to buying something like an AI port. And I know they're supposed to add support for multiple on-VIF cameras eventually. I don't know when that's ever going to come. I'm just happy it works with one at this point. Who knows how well it will work when it's got like 3 on it, but we will see. That will be coming down the road.
Yeah, I don't know. One of the cameras loads up almost instantly. I'm pretty sure all the settings are the same. And then you just have to sit and wait for the other ones. One of the older cameras that I have that I think has a pretty low resolution on it as well, it just never loads until I just sit here on the screen. Like you can see it's a black.
Yeah.
It's just not doing anything except the 3 dots. When you go look at the cameras, go to live mode, like it doesn't have the streaming video on it, which I think is kind of like lame, right? Because the streaming video is their own recordings that they've been saving off on the side. It has nothing to do with the on-VIF of the camera. But like it would be nice to be able to scroll back through the history like you can with the other cameras. And if it's like a resolution thing, document it, put it down somewhere so I know what to set this at.
Yeah, they're very bad at documenting. I know.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're using all UniView cameras, hey, this thing works great. With OnVIF, I'm still not convinced. This is a beta product with OnVIF. I don't think it works.
Yeah, if you're using, it's not that it doesn't work. It's probably that they're just making it very bad on purpose. If you're using Unify cameras, the experience is a totally different experience.
For sure.
But if you start, and if you get an AI port, it's a different experience as well because it converts that camera into fast loading, with all the bells and whistles, But if you're just using the OnVIF import, it's a bad experience.
I would not say I would be happy with this particular experience with OnVIF cameras, but like the Unify cameras that I have come up extremely fast.
Yeah.
So no complaints on that. It's just everything else is subpar, which I know they could do better. Like I have the UNVR. Like no, I don't have the AI ports, but I'm not expecting that either. I'm just expecting video from a freaking camera to get recorded to the NVR.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be that hard. So anyway, and if it is, tell me what I need to turn off because I'll go turn it off on these cameras right now.
Do you have the latest? Do you install the early adopters version of?
No. That was breaky.
The thing with the early adopters is they've been adding a lot of fixies, right? So like for stuff like this, right?
Lies.
So and that's one of the things while troubleshooting all this, I've installed a lot of the early adopter versions of their software on my network trying to troubleshoot things. And I have on all my ports and all the cameras and stuff. So, one thing I did learn in this whole process was that, how to unbrick like one of my mini switches. So like I installed the firmware, went through all my switches upgraded except for my one mini switch, and it would just not come back on again. It was just totally gone. Nothing I could do could get it. And I saw a post, someone said, you can do a firmware recovery of it. And this was actually really cool to do. I've never done this before, but it required setting up like a little web server on your computer, right? You had to give your computer a specific IP address, like 192.168.1.99, right? You copied the firmware bin file into the root directory. And then when you're plugging in the switch, you hold down the reset button. And what that caused is the switch then reached out to that specific IP address, grabbed the fwupdate.bin file, and then reflashed it, and then it brought it back to life. And I didn't know this was a thing. I was almost going to send this back and say, hey, it's dead. But then I found this article on how to do this, and it brought it back to life. It flashed the basic firmware, reset everything, and then I was able to reconfigure it and readopt it.
Nice.
So if you ever run into that, it's not an easy process, but it's documented out there on their website. So that was really cool to do. Other than that, I got the garage for my lawnmower. So my lawnmower sits out in the yard and it's in the sun, and the birds, I think we're using it as target practice. So, it's got a lot of spots on it from, bird droppings, but, I decided to get a little, garage. So I ordered the garage, and now it's protected from the elements and the birds. And it looks so happy out there. This thing looks happy, it's like Gavin cares about me, and, I even bought a cover for my robot, vacuum for my pool. I bought a nice little cover so it doesn't sit in the sun and, stuff like that too. I take care of my bots.
Well, supposedly birds aren't real. They're actually robots.
Yeah,
so
right.
This means that your robots are fighting robots.
Oh,
It's already begun.
You've already started.
The birds have the projectiles, so,
Yeah, they're definitely
yeah. One thing I realized though is I haven't named my bots. I named my vacuum. That one's called Dusty, but I don't have one for my pool vacuum, and I don't have one for my lawnmower. So if a listener has a cool name, because I gave all my cool names away. So if a listener has a cool name, let me know. I need one for my lawnmower. I need one for because, giving it a name, you become more like personal with the robot. And when they take over our world, they're going to remember me as the guy that bought them a garage, that, gave them a name, an identity,
I'm going to come up with some good names and email it to you.
All right. Yeah. So you can do that. Any listeners, send me some robot names I need one for my pool vacuum and one for my lawnmower.
Feedback at HomeTech.fm.
Exactly.
I never named the small robot lawnmower besides Clippy.
Yeah,
he had a name.
We gave it that name. Yep.
Yeah, and then but this one, the big one I named Big Bertha. So like I just sent Big Bertha out there to mow the lawn. Actually, I sent you guys a picture of when the cameras come up, they actually look really nice, but it just takes a while for them to come up. So. But yeah, Big Bertha's traveling around the front lawn right now. Nice. Now that it's nice and cool, there's no like real sun out there. She started to do her job out there, so that's really cool. But I never named the other one, so.
Oh, we need some cool names. Listeners, send us some cool names and tell us which one they're going to be for.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll send a sticker for the one.
Yeah. We'll get TJ to send some stickers.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll send it right away.
But that wraps up my projects for this week. I have a lot of devices coming in that I'm going to be talking about over the next few weeks. So that's going to be fun.
Teasers.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this week. We want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather in there every day and check out all sorts of cool stuff. Richard finished his box holding shelves. I don't get it.
He's got so many boxes.
They're like, he's got like the nicest shelves you could possibly imagine, but he's got empty boxes on them. I don't get it.
Hey, there's a couple bins that say smart home stuff. He actually has like 4 bins that say smart home stuff. So there is some useful stuff.
But this is what I did in my basement. I took all the boxes off the floor and I organized them nicely, and I bought shelving for all around my basement.
The boxes.
No, I keep the boxes there in case so my system is I keep the boxes, but then every year I'll go down there and purge the boxes. So I keep them in case I feel like I'm going to sell this or give it away or whatever. And then after like a year or so, I'll go down there and I'll just take the boxes and break them all down. And in the boxes, I leave parts and stuff that came with the device. So then I'll take the parts out, put them in a little bag, label them so I know where those parts came from. Stuff like that. I'm organized too, but I really appreciate, I can appreciate the picture Richard posted. Like that's organized. And I did the exact same thing. I've labeled bins. Even down to I bought the same bin. It throws me off that he has some different bins in there. My bins were all the same. I one-upped Richard. I got them on sale. I bought them all the same. And I labeled them. And, not just I appreciate it, but the wife appreciates it too, because everything's organized.
I can see the boxes that got me were the TV boxes. I don't think I've ever been able to keep a TV box. I mean, where do you put your trash? Like when you're putting the TV on the wall, like all the trash goes in there, and then you slide that thing out to the into the driveway, and they take it away.
The only thing that threw me off in this whole picture was the one printer box on the side. It was like, come on, you boxed and you put everything on a shelf, and that one box on the side. I would have sacrificed one of the other boxes to make room so there would be no boxes on the floor. It's like a Seth project. It feels so unfinished watching that one box on the floor.
Well, let us know. Let us know. Feedback at HomeTech.fm. Do you keep boxes, or are you like me, where like as soon as the thing arrives in the house, like is the box already in the trash? And I have stuff just sitting around that's not installed, like like this.
It doesn't even use the product.
Yeah, it's right here. It's not doing anything, but the box is in the trash already. I can't keep a box. I can't. There's no way I'd be able to do that. So anyway, let us know. Feedback HomeTech.fm. Anyway, if you want to help out but can't support the show financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care.